guys, here's part 3 of the interview with Barry Vanafer.
Enjoy. So where would you say, where's Premier going? Is it, are you...
Yeah, we're nearing 100 locations now. And as we speak, we're considering, we're a licensing. That doesn't mean anything to the audience here, but we're considering franchising Premier. So what that means to people that might be listening to this is becoming organized. We are an organized brand, Premier Martial Arts. We're one of the most successful martial arts organizations in the world, and one of the most well-known. But taking it to a franchise level, so that my company can provide more services to the owners, that's what we're looking at right now. So.
Yeah. And I think, the Premier brand is, just being involved with instructors and the people in the team here, it's you have that, you can't not have that feeling of you want to belong to it, you want to be part of it, because if you're not part of it, you feel like you're missing out on what it can be and what martial arts can be and what the business, what the entity can be in itself.
So still, enamored and by the fact that sometimes I forget how big Premier Martial Arts is, from designing the logo and having the logo that you designed and started with. I've gone to other countries and seen people wear Premier t-shirts. I've gone to Disney, and when I took my son to Disney, I didn't know him, but I saw 4 or 5 different people.
I've done that too. I've actually seen that too.
That had Premier Martial Arts shirts
cool.
on.
That's cool.
Or I don't even really go to tournaments, but I was speaking at a tournament recently for some owners, the opening day. And I got there the night before, and I'm down in the lounge having a late dinner and having a drink at the bar, and people over on the side, you could hear them clearly talking about different martial arts things, and they brought up Premier, and they were talking about this, and I heard they're doing this, and that. And they had no idea that I'm sitting there, the president of Premier, but I'm sitting there just enamored and excited that they know who Premier is. And they're talking about it, but they don't even know who I am sitting here just eavesdropping on them.
Isn't that the moment you just want to stand up and go, yes?
It's surreal, man. It's really, really surreal. But and then the other flip side of that is seeing the owners that are thriving, doing so well with their business and their school, but going to Premier Martial Arts schools and seeing the quality of students. Seeing the kids do the moves that you wrote into a lesson plan, and hearing the instructors do the mat chat that I wrote 10 years ago at 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to get all these mat chats organized. To see that is pretty amazing. And and I was at your school last year, and I watched a 2-day black belt test, and those kids were some of the best martial arts kids that I've seen.
Yeah,
they were totally awesome.
I think they were just showing off.
Whatever they were doing, but because they could do the sport karate, but yet they were good at their Krav Maga. They had great kickboxing. Their intensity was strong. They're respectful. They were excited. They were motivated. And I had nothing to do with that, but yet I had everything to do with that.
Yeah.
So it gave me a proud moment. They don't even know me or anything, but just to see that those kids' life is empowered so much by you listening to a few things that I designed, and the synergy of us working together and what it did to them was amazing.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And it's kind of akin, we were at a concert the other day, but it's kind of akin to, you write a song, and then you hear the crowd singing it back to you. It's kind of along that same line, isn't it? That's awesome. So moving aside from that, you create this, and it's fantastic as it is. How does Barry get to relax? What do you do for fun?
Oh man, there's not a lot of. I have a lot of fun. There's just not a lot of relaxing. I have 2 kids now. I have a wife and 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So as you know, from being at my house, it can get quite wild, and they demand a lot of attention, which is great, and I love giving them the attention. I enjoy if I get a chance to get away. without business to go to a basketball game, or if I'm traveling, I try to find something unique in the town while I'm there to do besides just work. Spending time with you guys, my friends, and going to concerts and things like that, just like everybody else.
Yeah,
I like to mainly my friends. I think that keeping my relationships with my friends going, and that's always good. And we're fortunate enough that we get to travel. And for us, on a Monday night, 4 of us just got on a plane and met in Nashville for a concert. So that was good cool.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, I think at the end of it as well is you do it because you enjoy everything. I mean, it's almost like makes your 7-day-a-week thing just constant joy, lots of fun. But obviously there's a lot of work involved, but being able to let your hair down, so to speak, is very, very important.
Yeah, and this isn't just for owners. This is for kids that might be listening to your students of all ages. One thing is always, you were talking about this yesterday, try to relax. Try to remember that 90% of things just don't matter. So, when you're a teenager, your kids are getting into those teen years where, or maybe some of your students, they're going to be listening to people, bully them or peer pressure them on social media or at school. And, the biggest thing that I want for my kids is to have the confidence in themselves, not to let that twist them up so much that it changes who they are.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
Right, the grand scale.
Those kids in your middle school or high school that might give you grief, in 3 years you're not even going to know where they're at or ever see them again.
Right.
So why let them get you twisted up to it changes how you feel about yourself? Then that changes your decision making, and it can spiral into something negative.
Yeah.
But just understand, have the confidence. To me, it's great that 90% of stuff just don't matter. And I try to remember that. And business people, if you're an owner listening to this, or you're an adult student listening to this, when it comes to your work, bad things happen to good people sometimes. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. But you can't let it affect you and change you. You just got to blow it off and move on.
Let it
laugh,
go quick.
Yeah, just go on.
It's funny. One of the things we do at the studio sometimes, I'll see a kid come in kind of down or a little bit mopey or whatever, and say, or even a parent will have mentioned it. They had a tough day at school, or they got lots of homework and they didn't do the homework, or we found out they had homework and they were supposed to have done it yesterday, but they didn't do it yet. They hid it from me or whatever. You hear all those things. So one of the things I always do is I'll grab a pad and I'll bring a kid up and go, and I don't make a big deal out of it as the person who this may be happening to, but I say, come on, let's have a look at this scenario. And I say, all right, hold this pad. That's your homework. Do you want to carry that homework around with you now, or just get it done and, have the rest of the day or whatever, the weekend to play? You want to put it down, right? All right, so if you don't do your homework, here's another pad. And we start stacking up, so they're holding these pads and say, all right, do you want to carry this around with you and always have this, or do you just want to let it go and be done with it? I want to let it go and be done with it. Okay, well then, and then it kind of gives them that visual perspective of just get it done now, so that you have that time to play or relax and
the fact that you're in a position to even have that conversation with a kid.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's an honor. Yeah. That's a privilege, responsibility.
That's what I think. It's one of the things I enjoy about and really cherish about. Again, I don't want to call it a job. It's not a job. About what I do is being able to give that back to the kids and then have an effect or an impact. Because it's like when you've got, your dad says something, your mom says something, I've heard it all before, but then when you can present it just in a different way, it's kind of like when we have kids, often you have children say, they want to quit. Okay, well, why? I don't know. Well, if you ask them, do you want to quit, they can only elicit a yes or no response, right? It's a 50-50 based on that motion. So if I'm sitting here playing video games, okay, it's time for karate. No, I quit, I don't want to go. It's like, it's like asking mum and dad, mum and dad, you just had dinner, you got the remote control in your hand, watching the news, okay, let's go to the gym.
Well, how many times I just heard a parent the other day in the hallway at one of my schools. I was just talking to the parent, and I was like, how's your son like in class? Oh, he likes it. He has days where he doesn't want to come, but he loves it once he gets here. Yeah, how many times have we heard that in life?
Every
the
day.
Kid loves it when he gets here. Well, Mom, Dad, you're the parent. You know it's good for him. You know he loves it when he gets here. So you're the one has to change his attention and focus to get him to the class because he loves it and it's good for him. a lot better than sitting there playing video games. You know.
And it can be. I talked with a kid the other day who's brilliant. He's just absolutely brilliant on the floor. Love seeing him on the floor. Great kid, very polite. But he I guess recently he was giving mum a hard time about going to class, which is the first time it's ever happened. And I think it stemmed from something a couple of weeks ago where I'd mentioned, okay, so remember, you need to know this for your black belt test. You know, your black belt test could be a year, 2, doesn't matter. But you've got to start memorizing these things. What's kicking combination number 2? What's the first kicking combination number 3? You know, and so forth. And I fire those questions out sporadically during classes. And I think he found it a bit too much and said, oh, no, I've got to remember all this. So he can do it, and no problem at all. But when I said, just got to do this technique and that technique and just remember these combos and just blast them out, you do them every day in class. But as soon as I said, just try and remember them, if I say, show me kickboxing set 6, and you go, what is it? So I brought him in and we chatted, and I said, all right, so do this combination. Jab, cross, round kick. Okay, show me. All right, cool. Now go ahead and do the next one. Show me parry, cover, hook, cross, round kick. Cool. Now show me the first one again. Good. Now show me that second one you just did. Awesome. Now go ahead and do a check, cross, hook, round kick. Okay, do that one. Now show me the first one again. Show me the second one. Show me the third one. Okay. Now show me all 3 of them. Bang, 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 bang. You just did it. What are you worried about? Oh, yeah. So see you in class tomorrow? Yeah. That was it. You know, and it's just how you approach it, the situation, and just I mean, I've had kids that wanted to quit because their helmet was too tight, or they lost a glove and they didn't want to tell mom.
Right.
You know, it's just the funny things that they can stop.
Well,
from the
I think
training,
there's with so much going on in the world nowadays, kids have so many options that parents are too eager to let them quit and to approve of them quitting. Yeah. You know.
And it's just the impact of what we do is one of the things we love. So being able to, you know, I almost see it as a, you know, we've dropped the ball. If I let them just walk away and say, all right, bye, then I feel like I've let them down as well. So
and that's why I always love the Asian culture. And I'm not speaking for the Asian culture. So if I say something wrong, I apologize now because I'm not an expert in that area. But I do know how important the school is and their scholastics. And then a lot of families also demand that their child learns a musical instrument because it develops a different part of the brain. They have to probably learn more than one language, and they have to do something physical. They don't care what it is, whether it's martial arts, but they have to be involved with something physical. And if you look at that, that makes a complete person.
Absolutely.
You know, and then I would add, you know, I'm sure there's a spiritual training that's in there somewhere, but that's what it's about, man. You pick what you want, bro, but you're going to do something. That's like my son Luca. I don't even, people already ask me, he's 4, has he started training martial arts yet? The answer is no, not yet. I goof with him at home, but, you know, he's 4. I want him to want to do it, and when he starts, not quit. So whether he's 8 when he starts or 12, it doesn't matter to me. But one thing's for sure, he's going to do something physical at all times.
Absolutely.
Right? He's going to learn a musical instrument. School's going to be paramount important, and he's going to, you know, he's going to get spiritual training.
And I think all of that's the balance. Well, very cool. That's awesome. So some of you may not know, but that's I mean, you can't get more of an insight into life as a Barry Vanover, or even just as a premier school owner himself. But that's fantastic.
Well, all you owners have good stories, and everybody has their story of where they.
It's just that success, and it's just letting people know there's a bigger picture. So I mean, even just this interview of you, it shows them there's a bigger picture, and we all have. Nobody's given that, you know, golden ticket. Everyone has to get to that.
But a lot of times it's what motivates someone too. And in the martial arts industry, I always say, if you're in this just for the money, then you're probably in the wrong business.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to be in here for how martial arts training and how you have the ability to change people's lives. Then you want to open up another location and another location because you're trying to empower more people's lives through your martial arts teachings. You know,
absolutely.
That's really the motivating factor for success, is helping other people.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Barry.
All right, man.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That was awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you enjoyed part 3 of the interview with Mr. Vanover.